Hi, everyone. It's Denise Brown from the Caregiving Years Training Academy. I am thrilled and delighted to introduce you to three of our skills consultants who help our participants in our Certified Caregiving Consultant Training Program. So, welcome, Danelle. Hi, Danelle. How are you doing?
Hi, great to be here.
Hi, Carolyn. How are you?
Hi, great. Thanks for having me.
And Deb. Hi, Deb. How are you?
I'm good, guys. Really good. Thanks. It's good to see your faces.
So, each of you graduated through the Certified Caregiving Consultant Training Program. You are a CCC. And after graduation, you decided to give back at my invitation to participants who are going through the program by helping them with a particular skill or helping them with knowing that they can be successful after they graduate from the program. So let's start with you, Deb, because actually the training starts with you, so to speak. You are what I consider to be our onboarding consultant. So when students enroll in the training program, they schedule 30 minutes with you to get acclimated to our community and to really connect with a friendly face. And then at the end of the program, they connect with you again as a networking skills consultant. So why was it important for you to stay on as a skills consultant and give back to the community?
Well, I think because what I've learned over time is that being part of this group of certified caregiving consultants has given me a home. What we do is unusual in this field, and it's so needed. And so being able to work with people who just joined, I love the enthusiasm and the excitement they have about the business that they're building. And I want them to understand that there is a group of dedicated professionals behind them that not only can they ask questions about their business, but because we all have different skill sets, they can tap somebody and say, hey, tell me about that hospital experience. I need your advice, or can say to a client, I'm going to have you talk to somebody. And as a really tight-knit group of professionals that care about one another and what we're doing, we have the opportunity to share. So I take them through the website and all the wonderful things that you've given us as skills consultants, that people know about our work, from where we've been published to our books to our skill set. Then I take them through Facebook and just show them how, we might post something that we think is important to other people in terms of knowledge, but we also might ask a question and the input that you get. And then linked as well. And one of my favorite parts is when I actually say to them, welcome to Certified Caregiving Consultants, you found a home. And I really do believe that.
Yeah, and I think when you sign up for the program, there is this worry that, oh my gosh, can I do this? Is it really possible to turn my personal caregiving experience into this business? Can I really consult with family caregivers and really do a great service to them? So one of the new additions to the program is actually a strengths assessment that Carolyn conducts with our participants. It's actually a Gallup Strengths Finder. It's an assessment. I went through the assessment, I think it was 7 years ago. I think that's what we figured out, Carolyn.
Mm-hmm.
And you're actually one of the coaches that has gone through training that can help our participants learn what it means when they receive the results of their assessment. So they go through the assessment early on in the training program. The assessment gives them an overview of what their strengths are, because we want our participants to know that they have strengths that are going to be part of their success. And then they have a 1-hour coaching call with Carolyn where they go through the strengths. And she really adds more, I would say, color, because I think of you as a color commentator, Carolyn, to the strengths assessment. You let them know what the strengths mean and how they can apply those strengths in their work. So why was this important, Carolyn, for you to get as involved in this way in the program?
Well, as you had said, and that was a great intro, as a Gallup certified strength coach, I became one and wanted to share that with this community, because after caregiving, I became a CCC, which was my way of taking the meaning and purpose that I found as a family caregiver and helping support other people. And then about a year or so after I became a CCC, I had taken the Gallup-Clifton Strengths Assessment and discovered how I naturally think, feel, and behave. And it was a lightning moment, like it was when I became a CCC. We all function with these innate talents and the way we think, feel, and behave every day. But to do it intentionally for our CCC community, it helps people build their business successfully. So we can have meaning and purpose in our work and still build a business. They go hand in hand.
So one of the things that's kind of interesting about our group of skills consultants is that sometimes I recruit them. So for instance, Carolyn actually started as our listening skills consultant. And then we had a conversation this summer where she actually pitched me on this idea of how about adding this assessment tool to the training. And I said, okay. So then Carolyn moved into doing our assessments, and then Andrew moved into our listening skills consultant role. And then sometimes I actually volunteer people to be skills consultants. So Danelle, I would say I kind of volunteered you. So we had been working on really talking about the impact of systemic racism during a personal caregiving experience. We had done a panel discussion in June with 3 family caregivers who really shared just heartbreaking experiences that they had because of systemic racism that they experienced in the hospital system, the healthcare system, and sometimes within the family system. And Danelle was one of those participants, and we continued the conversation, and it just became so clear that we need to add a module in our CCC training that really speaks to that. So Danelle has a module that's part of the program that she developed this past summer. And what I love about this module is that it doesn't teach anything new to our training program participants. It actually teaches them how to use the skills we already teach and use them during sensitive conversations around systemic racism. Danelle, why was it important for you to add that module?
Well, I think that in speaking with other family caregivers of color over the past few months, one of the things that has been consistent is this realization that, first off, we all have this commonality of experiences as family caregivers that binds us together. But for many family caregivers of color, there's also this impact of dealing with racial bias or racism within, like you said, the family system or the healthcare system that frankly, we haven't really unpacked. And so what I found fascinating was this idea that we've all experienced it, we've all been dealing with it, but it's been compartmentalized as part of our caregiving experience. And because we are in a community that is accepting and encouraging of speaking of uncomfortable experiences, right? I mean, part of the process is that we don't minimize the uncomfortable, and that we are asking questions to find out more. We're validating one another's experiences. And so there was an opportunity to speak to this experience in an environment that frankly was and is extremely uncomfortable. But yet to open the idea to everyone, for all of us, it's like collective conversation to even open up the idea that, okay, this is something that is happening, and let's look at what the impact is so that for others who are going through this experience may be able to better navigate the challenges because there's an awareness, versus as it was with me and with so many of my colleagues of color who are just so used to, that being incorporated as the status quo, that we're not even looking at it in the context of caregiving.
You know what? And I think when you're in a caregiving experience, you often feel like that experience is minimized. And as consultants, what we bring to that conversation with our clients is an understanding that it is an incredibly critical role you're playing in your family, and that you are significantly impacted, and that it's painful for you. So we sit with a client's pain. And because we know not to minimize, we also know that when we work with clients who might have an experience with systemic racism, and that experience might be minimized. Oh, you're just overreacting. Oh, it wasn't meant to be, something like that. We know, and your module really brings that out, that it is what happens. It is not a situation that we are overreacting to, that there is that experience within the healthcare system, within the community, and sometimes within the family. And that as consultants, we have communication strategies that can have that conversation, that can create that safe space with our clients so they can share honestly about what happened. The reality is, when we have that safe space, when a client shares honestly, we do our best work because we truly understand what's the challenge, what's a good suggestion then to help manage that challenge. And that's our goal in every conversation with our clients. And I really love how you use those communication strategies during that module, Danelle. Just absolutely powerful. And you also brought your own personal experiences into that module and shared what you've experienced, not only as a family caregiver, but also a patient within the healthcare system. So sometimes I think I push you guys to be personal, which puts you in a really vulnerable position. Danelle, for you, what's it like to be vulnerable about sharing your experiences? You could say it's terrible. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it is very uncomfortable. Because of the awareness of, one of the reasons why this is not a topic that is shared within a community, or, even within our own families, because of the historical and lifetime experience of those challenges being minimized. And so there's a risk involved in being open and sharing painful experiences, regardless of what it is. I mean, we've seen and heard so many stories from, people within this community that are painful and that are scary to share. And so, yeah.
But here's the beauty of it. The reason that we are vulnerable and honest as consultants is because it also gives courage to our clients to be vulnerable and honest. And we know what it's like to put ourselves out there, which then allows us to bring that compassion into a conversation because we understand the risk that the client is taking, because that's something that we do ourselves. We know what it's like to be vulnerable, which then adds that level of caring to that conversation.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Reminds me of, Deb had posted this a few weeks ago where, Deb, you shared that, I'm not feeling okay right now. And to put that out there, and be vulnerable in that way, to your point, Denise, it it opens the door for others to share more and to also be vulnerable and honest. So again, it's, kind of this challenge for each of us to be vulnerable in our own way, in an authentic way, that reflects our personal experience and where we are in the moment.
Okay, Deb and Carolyn, I'd love for you to give us a few closing thoughts. So Deb, why is it important for you to do work as a certified caregiving consultant and be an active member of our community?
Wow. It's so interesting to me, and I've shared this thought with you. I'll be 63 in November, and I started this business in my late 50s when I lost my job, and I finally feel like I have my voice. I feel like I have found the place where I can make a difference. I've said this before. I will never go back to corporate. This is to have my own business with the flexibility to be mom's caregiver and to do what I love and to feel like I'm helping people and feel like I found my voice. There is nothing better than that. Just nothing.
And Carolyn, you know what? I want to mention that it was 4 years ago this month that you came to Chicago for your training, if you can believe that.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
What a journey it has been. And I started this journey and it was unknown. I completely was isolated in my family caregiving experience. And the world opened up to me when I found your training as a CCC. And I immediately tapped into who I naturally am to want to give back and help people realize that they can have a community while they're going through what for most of us is the most difficult time of our life.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to Danelle and Deb and Carolyn. I so appreciate you taking the time today to connect with us. And when you enroll in our Certified Caregiving Consultant Training Program, these are just 3 of the skills consultants that you connect with. And we're all here to help you be successful, to help you know that you have the strengths and skills to make a difference, and to remind you that family caregivers need your work. They need to be supported, they need to be understood, and they need to have this place, this conversation where they can say honestly what's going on in their lives. Okay, thanks everybody. For more information about our training programs, go to careyearsacademy.com. Again, that's careyearsacademy.com. Thanks everyone.